something that exopolitical analysis doesn't fully get. It's great to talk about personal transformation, but we live in a world of corporations, and they don't give a crap about personal transformation. They're driven by profit and shareholder value. That's all they care about. They can be driven by beautiful people who really do care about the world, but if they're not increasing shareholder value, they're gone. Corporations have an iron law in which they must increase shareholder value. That is their raison d'etre. If they're not doing that, then the CEO is gone, which means that they must behave in certain ways. And those certain ways, unfortunately, are not typically designed to increase higher consciousness among the people. They are instead designed to take money out of your bank account. That's what they do. That's our world. And there's a great deal of interaction between those major worlds, and there's other branches I probably could have thought of if I had more time. Under a rubric, though, of an elite, yes, there is an elite. I don't know what to call them anymore. I used to call them the national security state. Well, they're not quite national. They're a little bit more than that, aren't they? International financial national security state. Toss in entertainment state. If you looked at America as a room of 100 people, okay, and if this, and there's $100 in the room, assuming the dollar's still worth something when we do this, so one of those guys would own 40 to 45 of those dollars. That's America. That's the world, really. And then another guy would have another 11 bucks, and then the last 80 people would have really nothing. So that's a room that has a political system. It's got a media. It's got all of these things that make it go. It's not hard, really, to figure out who's going to be in best position to manipulate all of these things for his own benefit, obviously. It's the guy with the 40, 45 bucks. That's our world. It's not complicated. And yet, of course, it's never analyzed in this way in our mainstream media, and precisely because they're owned by that guy with the 45 bucks. So we have to disabuse ourselves of the notion that we have a truly open process. In any way. We don't. It's not. And this matters when we talk about UFO disclosure. Because doesn't it matter if you get disclosure from your government what the nature of that government is? If it's a Republican system that is responsive to you, that's one thing. But what if it's a proto-crypto, postmodern fascist state instead? Well, guess what? It is. We're not moving toward democracy. And by the way, as I said earlier today, I don't think democracy is bad. What I think is uninformed citizens of a democracy is a very, very dangerous thing. Are we moving toward a world of slaves and slave owners? Yes, we are. That's the direction. Escape into your own little private Idaho where you can play your video games and watch TV and zone out. And it's a lot more fun, frankly, than dealing with all the stuff we have to deal with. If your house is on fire, but you're having a really wicked, cool dream, who wants to wake up and deal with the crisis? What is our world moving toward? We've decoded the human genome. We're making amazing strides right now in the world of nanotechnology. What will be called quantum computing, artificial intelligence, creation of a super race, maybe? Getting rid of redundant people like us. There's that word. You hear that a lot these days, redundant. Isn't that scary? It scares me. People are not redundant. So we're in a post-modern dystopia. We're depleting our resources. We all know this. Threatened cascading failure of the global ecosystem, failing global infrastructures. Is there an end game scenario being discussed by those people in the know? Are they planning something? Other people have discussed this earlier. I'm going to let you just ponder that one yourself. Now let's look at them. Who are they? How can we learn about them? This should always be at the forefront of our thinking. Well, you can learn a little bit about them through reviewing some of the UFO sighting literature. There are many cases of people who have described, seemingly honest, very, very low-key people who've said, yes, I had an encounter with a being that I don't think they were human. And there's a lot of that, and we can learn a lot from that. Abduction literature, yes, also, but let's be careful. And the only reason I say that is because when people are taken or seem to be taken, it's not under the best of circumstances, and there certainly seems to be a lot of manipulation going on in there. Experiencers, remote viewers, yes, but we have to be very careful. Let us not be irresponsible. I'll leave it at that because I'm running short. Who are they? Here's a few factors about them. They operate by stealth, at least usually. They don't seem to be that interested in letting us deal with them in an open public way. I think, personally, that there's more than one group involved with diverse agendas, probably. According to abduction and other kinds of research, they're highly telepathic. They have an ability to manipulate human thinking, human emotions, as do, in fact, a lot of military covert technology. They appear to have some mastery over space-time. They don't seem to have kinds of emotional responses that we do, at least not most of the time. Do they look like us? I think some just, well, maybe they do. It would be logical. If I were an alien here on Earth, I wanted to deal with the native species, I would probably enhance or manipulate my own native humans and have them do work for me. Where are they from? Are they from another planet? Are they from another time? Are they from another dimension? I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. Are they truthful or not? Ah, okay. Again, let's pretend that we're time travelers. You go back 1,000 years. You talk to the most intelligent person in the world 1,000 years ago. Let's say, I don't know, some monk in an abbey who happens to be a genius. So you sit down with this person for a day, and you try to describe our world. How many mental revolutions is that person going to be able to handle before they just say, I can't take it? Okay? Probably a lot, right? Not too many, I mean. Tell them that the Earth goes around the sun, or that these little things called viruses, or all kinds of technological capabilities. There's only a certain amount that a person can handle. If they are coming here to deal with us, I think it's reasonable to assume that they're not telling us everything either. Did they create us? Did they manipulate us? Did they enhance us? If so, do they see us as their investment? Do they see us as their property? How long has this been going on? There's fallacies involved here. And I'll probably end it here. I'll just skip my last third. It's not that necessary. Here's a fallacy. If they're so technologically advanced, they must have solved their major social, economic, and political problems. You hear this a lot. I hear it a lot. I don't buy it at all. Again, we go back in time. Let's say all of us go back with our iPods and our cell phones and maybe a couple of laptops, and we meet, doesn't matter where we go, we meet some people of 1,000 years ago, and they look at this laptop and they're like, whoa, man, that's cool. For you to have gotten to this level, you must have solved all of your social, economic, and political problems. And then, right, we would look at each other. We say, well, okay, you take care. Oh, and keep that on safety, whatever. Okay, they may not have either. In fact, when you really think about it, if you look at the species that we know of on Earth, it's only the highest intellectual species, us, that has the ability to be sadistic, that tortures. Maybe the higher up the ladder you go, the greater the range, from the angelic to the truly demonic. And again, maybe that's the case with them. I don't, all right? Are they ready to welcome us with open arms to the cosmos? This was a statement, I admit, this was what Dr. Stephen Greer actually literally said at Barcelona a couple of months ago, and I watched it on YouTube thinking, what? I'm sorry, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. If I am allowed to run a little bit over, I don't want Bob to get upset. I love Bob and revere him. In fact, Bob, if you don't mind, if you're there, I'm going to try to wrap this up as soon as I can. There's a disclosure paradox here. It's impossible. It can never happen, but it's inevitable. Let's talk about some of the fallout of disclosure. These are some, and certainly not all, of the issues that a true disclosure is going to have to deal with. Why have we been chasing them? Why is there this confrontation going on? How have you been able to keep the secret, Mr. President? What does that say about the structure of our secrecy? Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. What are all these secret programs about? Is there a secret space program? That might be a tough one for the president or any other responsible agency to discuss. Yeah, we